Hey, what's up, guys? I'm answering a question today sent in from, it's actually the brother of a mate of mine, so I give him a shout out, but I'm going to keep him anonymous because of the content of some of the letter. Just one thing, I'm always happy to answer everyone's questions, but if you can keep them a little bit short, as you can see, I write out, and I've written my own answers in amongst his letter to sort of chop and change it, but it can take a bit of time sometimes to write out longer letters, so if you can keep them short, do so. If it's necessary to write a lot, that's fine, I'm still happy to do it. So let's get started with the letter. It says, I've been watching a few videos of girls who can lift way more than I can. I have to say, it really bothers me. I feel emasculated and weak. There's one girl called Suzanne Svanevik. I think I got that right. Suzanne. It might actually be Suzanne because of the way it's spelled. This is Australia, so we'll just call her Susie or Suze. Who is so strong, her video is here. So I watched that video that he sent. It was actually called Girl Who Outperforms Professional Athletes or something like that. I can't believe what she can do. I'm much bigger than her, but I can't squat or deadlift as much. The letter continues, but I'm just going to tie it in with some of my answers as I go from now on. But you kind of, that just sets the scene for what he's written in. Before I go any further, just because I know this guy, and just to be able to put a light-hearted spin on this, and because she's from Norway, and I've got a mate of mine who's seen a Norwegian girl at the moment, and she showed us this group called Kollektivet, and they do a lot of funny spoofs. They do these video clips and film clips and songs, and they're just really funny. There's one I'm going to get you to look up. It's called "Don't Be Slapping My Penis." Look that up, because that's like a really funny way to look at when a guy feels emasculated. So anyway, look that up. I think it'll put a lighthearted spin on some of the letter that you've given me. Now, first of all, let's not forget I think she's 18 now, and although I'm going to make some comments, I'm not going to comment about her. And I just think, I know she's probably leaving. I know a lot of people are probably commenting on what she's doing, what she should and shouldn't do. She's a girl, she's this, that, and the other. She's young, whatever else. Let's not forget that she's a teenage girl, and we should probably keep a lot of comments to ourselves, especially if we're an adult. Let's just let her be who she is. She's got a great team around her. I'm sure whatever she's doing, it's her own choice, and she's in good hands. So it's not up to other people to make too many comments about her. So perspective. What I'm going to do is just put a lot of things into perspective for you for this video, so that it can help you to get a more internal peace on your own part. Number one, you're comparing. If you watch the video I did on the Your Genius, you're comparing. She's fantastic at what she does, right? But what she's doing is that dot on the tennis ball. If you've watched the video and you know what I'm talking about, it doesn't relate or correlate to the rest of her life or the rest of your life. If she can lift more than you, good on her. But does that, what's that got to do with the rest of the whole and the totality of life? I get, you're a man or you're a young man, you're coming through and it's emasculating, and I get what you're saying, but it's not really, it's the way you're looking at it. Number two, these bits are important. So I can tell just from watching an 8-minute video that she has been coached really well. I can tell from her form. So it's important to know that she has great technique. Now, just going one step further than that, the environment, if you look at the gym that she's in and things, she's got people around her that have got her. She's not doing this in a basement at home. That alone will add 20 kilos to a lift. The environment, if you're just in your basement trying to learn how to lift from YouTube videos and blogs, and you're on your own trying to lift, it's just you don't have the same energy and the same ability to lift as you do when you've got a team that's got your back. And if you get where I'm going, that's going to add just going to add kilos to your lift. Had a mate come over recently who I haven't seen for a while. He's been doing his own training and he works away, and in one session we added 40 kilos to his deadlift for reps with room to move, and that was only because he hadn't been coached on it. All I did was coach him through how to do it, gave him some support, gave him some confidence, and he added 40 kilos is a lot to add to a lift. So although you see these people lifting more than you, don't forget that some of these people have been coached well for years, and they've got that support and confidence around them, and that's what's adding a lot to the lift. Not taking anything away from Susie, but just a bit of perspective for you might help to alleviate this emasculation you've got going on. And just on that point, I can get a complete beginner who's never deadlifted to lift 1 to 1.5 times their body weight within one session. So it comes down to how you're learning these things as well. Now I watched 2 of her videos, and based on how I saw her doing back aerials or back salts she was doing, I'm guessing she's got an extensive gym background, gym being gymnastics. So the way that relates is that when you have that kind of gymnastics background, you have good movement, you have a well integrated system. So again, when we're talking about form, let's take a hang clean for example. If you get your form, if your body's well integrated and you coordinate your hip thrust with your shoulder shrug correctly without being any stronger, you'll be able to throw 20 kilos more into the air. So it comes down to technique and the fact that she's got her body working really well for her and it's very well integrated. A lot of what I do is integration coaching, and I can just see by watching her, she's got it down. So if you don't have the coordination down yet, you may have the strength, but that coordination is holding you back. So again, just a bit of perspective for you there. Next point, because I know this guy and I know what he looks, I know what his frame is, and so I'm just going to talk about her frame. Now, her bones sit really well. If you look at her structure, because I mean I'm used to assessing people every day on their biomechanics and their frame and their structure. Her structure is great. Her structure can hold a lot of weight. If she had like a scoliosis in the spine, or if she had inversion on the leg or the hip or pronated shoulders, she wouldn't be able to hold the amount of weight that she can. And I just know from the person that wrote in, I know what his frame is like. And so just for the rest of you, when you're comparing yourself to somebody else, just realize that the frame has a lot to do with it. Even taking away muscular or neuromuscular strength, the frame has a lot to do with it. What else? She's short. So for a tall person, now again, I'm not taking anything away from Susie because she's doing fantastic. But for her to lift, do a deadlift from the ground, that's kind of the equivalent of a rack pull from a taller person. If you don't know what a rack pull is, it's where the bar is sat on a support on the squat rack. So you're pulling it from like knee level. So when she drops the bar, you might notice it kind of like drops from here to the ground. A normal person will be dropped from here to the ground. So she has what you call a mechanical advantage when it comes to being able to do a squat and a deadlift. Shorter, stockier people have a mechanical advantage over taller, lankier people. So again, she's very, very strong. She is doing very, very well, but just understand that the way lever arms and force continuum works, when you have a mechanical advantage, you're not actually put under the same strain as somebody with a longer lever arm, for example. Longer lever arms can add strength to certain movements. It's very technical, but just, again, stop. If you're comparing yourself to somebody else, don't. That's the short answer to that one. So, for the same reason that you don't see a lot of, say, basketball players performing high-quality muscle-ups, or a lot of them, because for you to clear a bar from here to here is different from if you've got 6 foot long arms. It's a different thing altogether. And it's the same reason why you don't see a lot of stocky 5 foot tall people launching themselves and dunking from the free throw line. Because it's just, the amount of power in a vertical jump and things is just, you get where I'm going. I've already answered that for you. So continuing, a little bit more about her frame, I guess, because this goes on to their age, her age, his age, and things like that. She's 18, okay? Now, she has great form, and so what I'm about to say I hope doesn't actually apply. Because she has great form, and I'm hoping she's going along really well, but just for some perspective, what if she's degenerating her joints, her body? What if she's been missing her period for the last couple of years? What if she's one of those people that gets to the age of 25, like a lot of athletes do, and then they're retired? Like, the human body, females are different to males, but human body generally, it's late 20s to early 30s is when you reach your physical peak, your prime. Why are people retiring when they're in their early 20s? Gymnasts retire early. It's nutrition. It's the way they've degenerated their bodies. They have to retire early. So big picture, like you might have a goal of squatting 200 kilos, but you might get there, and then, like I said in some other videos, be careful what you wish for. You might get there and then you can't walk for the rest of your life. So was it worth it? Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen to her, but it's just something you may not have considered. If in order for her to get to where she is, and I don't know what her goals are from here on out, but, has it come at the expense of something else? And that's probably something that you're not considering. And then I know that the ego is going to come up and go, well, I don't care. I'd rather be able to inject steroids, and she's not on steroids, but I'd rather be able to inject steroids and lift 180 kilos or something, because that'll make me feel good, and then I'll feel tough, and then I'll feel strong, and then compared to other people, I'll be strong, and then it's all ego, and a lot of what I work with for people is trying to let go of their ego and understanding what's real in life and what's just their ego telling them what they want. And again, so on that, life isn't about moving a lot of weight. It's about, there's a lot more powerful things you can move than just weight. So just these things you understand, if you watch some of my other videos, you'll get an understanding of that as well. So just for a bit of perspective as well, see, everyone's got strong points. I think as an all-round athlete, she's fantastic. If you look at her Olympic lifts, she's definitely got a lot of power in her body. But if you look at the way she does I only saw one sprint, so I can't judge her on it or anything, but it's just some perspective, Not everyone's great at everything, and I'm just assuming, again, that she was a gymnast, but a lot of gymnasts don't run very well. They're very stifled in their ability to perform sprints. So it's just, when you're idolizing someone or you're looking up to somebody so much, just realize that you might do some things better than them. It's not always the case that they're so far superior to you. I have a lot of trouble talking sometimes in videos. Look, I don't know if she speaks English at all. I think a lot of Norwegians learn English in school. But anyway, Susie, if you ever watch this, if you're ever in Australia and you come to the Gold Coast, feel free to look me up. I'm happy to take you to a track and see if we can get you loosened up a bit more, get some more speed out of you on a track. Same thing next time I'm in Europe. Feel free, that offer's out there. A couple of deeper points. Because this came into the way, he's written some things about how his mind's working on all this. If you watch the way that Susie approaches a bar or a lift, I can see on her face where her energy is. And as I've mentioned in other videos, a lot of people are very in their head. Their energy's up here, and their energy isn't in their heart and in their bodies. And I can see where her energy is. So when she goes to do a lift or move a bar or do whatever she's going to do, she's flowing. There's no wasted energy, and that alone can add, again, 20 kilos to a lift. Is not overthinking, not draining energy in that way, just being present, allowing yourself to flow, allowing yourself to move and expand in your potential. She's living her potential. A lot of people don't. They stifle their potential with their mind. So that's just something that she's doing there. Just one point to wrap up. I think I love what she's doing, and I promote this as well. I mean, I've always promoted girls lifting and becoming strong. Just some perspective on it though is that, firstly, I think, again, from the videos I was sent, thanks for sending them to me, because while I've been telling girls this for a while, I think it's great to be able to now show them Susie's videos, because then it's not just, a man telling them that they should lift and whatever, and you can't. So now they can watch a girl doing it and promoting that as well. And I just think though, while I'm all for promoting girls lifting and becoming strong, if you take somebody that's, I have girlfriends, for example, that are very, not only do they not have the frame to lift heavy weights, they don't have the nature or the disposition to do it either. So we could then go from making sort of stocky, muscular girls feel unsexy because of the way society's made people think they're meant to look like models, like waif-thin models, to then, idolizing or sexualizing fit, strong, muscular girls, and then girls like some of these girls that I mentioned that are never going to get like that and can't, or just won't because they don't have the nature, and then they'll be made to feel unsexy because they don't have muscles or whatever. So, while I'm all for promoting it, there's always a perspective, there's always a yin and yang, or there's always a couple of different ways you can look at anything. Look, the last part of the email, I was actually just going to email him a response but I'm going to answer it because I think it's going to apply to a lot of young men and a lot of people in general. I'm not going to read it out, I'm just going to give you the premise. Basically, he's finding himself very turned on sexually by seeing a girl that's around his age. I think she's a bit younger actually than him, outlifting him and being stronger than he is. Now, from an evolutionary perspective, I guess if you come across a stronger woman than you are as a man, first it's going to hit your ego, and then it's going to do things to you on certain levels. It's too deep to go into here. I mean, as a practitioner, I work with people on all levels. Sexuality is one of them. But I'm just going to give you a couple of points here that may help you to put this into perspective and alleviate what I think may be doing you some psychological damage and perhaps some physical damage, depending on how... Anyway, there's a joke there which you may or may not pick up on. Now, I'm going to do a separate video on sexualization and the matrix. we live in a highly sexualized world. Everywhere you look, you know, people have used sex to sell for a long time. You can't look anywhere without an image of a girl in a bikini. You can't log onto the internet without having some naked pictures come on. Well, you can, but you know what I mean. And just everything, movies, film clips for songs, everything's just all sexualized. But despite the proliferation of sexualization in our society, our sexualization as beings has been very, very repressed. It's like, and a lot of the times when we get aroused from seeing a certain picture, it's not a true sexual arousal. It's the matrix making us feel certain things. And I'm going to go into this a lot deeper when I make that video. But just be aware that I'm guessing that this sort of arousal that you're having when you see her doing this sort of stuff, or any girl outlifting you, or girls with muscles or whatever, is that I would hazard a guess that it's a superficial heat kind of a sexual arousal. It's the type that would lead to a premature ejaculation. It's not a deep it's not a deep sexual energy. It's something that did you get where I'm going with that? I hope you do. It's not a real true proper feeling of sexualization. It's this quick heat kind of one. And if you look into any sort of, I know, Taoism and things like that, or Tantra, you'll get to understand the difference between hot and cold sexual energy and things like that, and the depth of it, and superficial and things like that. But I just think that's what you're doing. And look, the way to lose that is that I guarantee if you met this girl, or any girl that you're sexualizing, if you meet them in person, that'll go away straight away, because you'll feel them on all different sorts of levels. You'll relate to them, you'll see them as a real person, as a reflection of you, and not just this digital strong girl or whatever you're getting aroused over. So my advice is just to click off, zip up if that's the case as well, and just go out and mix with some real people. Just talk to people, be amongst nature, and these sorts of things will fade away for you. So anyway, I hope you got something out of the video. If you have any other questions on these, feel free to email me on anything that obviously I brought up today. Hopefully that gave you some perspective and stop comparing yourselves so much to other people, because I guarantee there's a lot that you're not considering, and you're beating yourself up over things that you might now think, oh, well, I didn't think of it that way, so now I'm a little cooler about it. And Susie, love your work, keep it up. May meet you one day on some travels around Europe, or if you're in Australia. Other than that, take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching. See you on the next vid.